the prisoners of war suddenly noticed a small calf wandering inside the camp. One of them couldn't believe his eyes and shouted for the others. Hearing the noise, his fellow soldiers ran over immediately. After all, they hadn't eaten meat in 2 years. 2 years earlier, these British soldiers had surrendered without a fight. They were captured by the Japanese army and sent to the border to build a 415-kilometer railway. To make the prisoners cooperate, Japan sent in a brutal commanding officer. To show his authority, the officer stood on a platform and cursed the British prisoners, calling them cowards. He demanded that they learn the spirit of Bushido, the Japanese warrior code. The British commander appealed to the Geneva Convention, asking the officer to treat the prisoners humanely. He also stated that they would never do such hard labor as building a railway, but his words only enraged the Japanese officer. In front of everyone, the officer pulled out his pistol and shot him dead. The other prisoners were terrified by what they saw. The Japanese soldiers threw the commander's body in the square to warn all the other captives. Only then did the prisoners realize how foolish it had been to surrender. Soon, the prisoners were forced to begin construction on the railway. To prevent escape, the Japanese made them work 16 hours a day. Their daily meal was only a single bowl of thin porridge. That was why they were so thrilled to see the calf. It meant they could finally have a taste of meat, even if just for one meal. After 17 months of brutal labor and more than 30,000 deaths, the 415-kilometer railway was finally completed. But just as the work finished, a Japanese officer discovered that a shovel was missing from the tool shed. Fearing that someone might be planning to escape, he threatened to execute everyone unless the shovel was returned within 3 minutes. 3 minutes passed, and no one confessed. Just as the officer was about to give the order to fire, a British prisoner wearing a straw hat stepped forward. The officer struck him with the shovel, then began beating him mercilessly. Only then did a Japanese soldier realize they had miscounted the tools. No shovel was missing at all. The officer froze, realizing he had punished an innocent man. In blind rage, he turned his fury on his own subordinates. Watching the madness unfold, the prisoners knew their time was running out. They had to escape soon. One day, several Allied aircraft appeared over the camp. The prisoners were overwhelmed with excitement. Freedom was finally within reach. But to their horror, the bombers began an indiscriminate attack. Explosions tore through the camp as the prisoners scattered in panic. When the bombing ended, countless British soldiers lay dead or wounded. Soon after, another plane flew overhead, dropping leaflets urging surrender. That was how they learned the war was over. But the prisoners' anger did not fade. They captured the Japanese officer who had tortured them and executed him using the same brutal methods he had once used on them.